Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my live stream. Hold on, I have to check and see if this is working. Make sure this is on. Y'all can hear me. Alright, there we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Welcome back to my live stream, my YouTube channel. We're gonna do WWE Monday Night Raw review. This is the go-home show for WWE Crown Jewels in Perth, Australia this Saturday. I believe it's Saturday, or is it Sunday? No, I think it's Saturday. On the 11th. I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. My video has been sponsored by Solomon the Sound Dog, JD from New York, Fight for Pro Wrestling, Joe Cronin, No DQ, and other favorite podcasters and YouTubers I know of. This live stream could be like an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about the news and rumors. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about AEW Dynamite. But when you're going to enjoy this video. Now, Monday Night Raw was alright. The go-home show was fine. I actually liked the backstage segments and the interaction that we got with CM Punk, LA Knight, and we got Roman Reigns and Uso, Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. The storyline developments. We know that John Cena's final opponent had been revealed. Santos Escobar possibly leaving WWE. Monday Night Raw tonight has some big star power. We got Roman Reigns who opened the show, CM Punk, and his tension with LA Knight. Now, the show opened up with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. Now, they already announced the 5 matches for Crown Jewel. Only 5 matches. There's no title being defended. We know John Cena and AJ Styles. That might open the show. Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in a Australian street fight. It's in Bronson Reed's hometown. So we got a rematch between those two. We got the tag team match with the Kabuki Warriors against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And then we got the Crown Jewel Championship. Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Valkyrie, champ versus champion. And then we got Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes for the men's Crown Jewel champion. Those are the 5 matches that were on the show. So the show opened up with Roman Reigns challenging Bronson Reed to the match. That was the opening. They had a decent brawl. There was no Braun Breaker, and we didn't see him. I didn't see him. The Braun Breaker selling the attack from last week that Reigns put on him. Maybe we'll see my Crown Jewels. We got a backstage segment with Asuka. She slapped Kairi Sane. However, get ready for this match. Roman Reigns shot Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed then wearing the tribal thief. AEW Wrestle Dream. Jay White and Heyman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. We had a backstage segment with Roman Reigns. He gives advice to Jey Uso, so there's still seeds are planted there for him and the Usos, which I thought was very interesting. Becky Lynch faces Maxine Dupree in a shit match. Maxine Dupree won by countout. Why it probably just a one-off until AJ Lee comes back, and then we can get Becky and AJ, hopefully. So we got Lyra and Bayley with a backstage brawl. That was a 3 count. I thought she won by count. No, she won by count now. We got Roxanne Perez sneak save victory against Lyra Valkyria. She won. And then Bayley, she's still playing her heel character. She's sort of between her, whether she's heel or babyface. She had a brawl with Lyra backstage. And then we had this pretty good segment with CM Punk, LA Knight, and the Uso get into an altercation. Jey Uso super kid, LA Knight. The tension between all these guys. We got a pretty good vignette with Cody Rhodes and the Seth Rollins story. This is part 2. They talked about their history, Rollins helped them at WrestleMania. We do got Impact Wrestling that was 2 days ago. TNA Knockout World Tag Title Showdown. We had a very interesting backstage segment with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Heyman offers insight into Rollins' future. Something's gonna happen at Crown Jewel. Whether we see Brock Lesnar, or is Seth Rollins really gonna beat Cody Rhodes clean, or are they gonna be screw finished, or we could see Brock Lesnar. We just won't know. Something's gonna happen. We had another backstage segment. Jimmy Uso voices his concern to Roman Reigns as he tells Jey Uso this. Alright, let's go into some of the podcasters here.
Reuniting. Why would Jey want to stay as a member of that team? Jey hit the spear, but he was distracted by LA Knight. LA Knight tagged in, got the pin. There was, this was a lot of playing the hits here. And even CM Punk playing some of Jey Uso's hits, screaming yeet, doing the...
If you're an illegal alien, this runway is your...
Seth Rollins. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, this could be a backup plan for Paul Heyman to make sure that Seth Rollins leaves with the W. Will Brock make an unannounced appearance in Australia? I don't know, but we'll talk more about it when we get to our predictions video. Once again, this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Look on Joe Cronin.
20 yards away, he would have to throw a touchdown for me to get... he can't even... I don't even know if this counts. So yeah, 20-something yards. 17... Yeah, he could do it. He's got...
Let's go into the other podcaster, Steven Larson.
I like Santos Escobar. I don't know if he's like... And granted, I will say this. When you're in WWE, it's kind of difficult maybe to suss out, could he be big match guy? Could he be match guy?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what AEW would be going after.
Well, I think there's that, and I think also people who come over from WWE to AEW have to kind of like buy into what AEW is and what it does.
Yeah.
And if they can come in and bring something to the table creatively, I think history has shown us they'll have far more success than maybe someone who didn't. Come, put to the table something creative.
Go on now, what the hell?
I always felt like with Santos, regarding his matches, we kind of just saw like a little bit of what he could do with WWE.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
And I'm not really well versed in his work in AAA. I've seen some of his matches in Lucha Underground. In fact, the first match I think I ever saw in Lucha Underground was him versus Ray.
Something wrong with the damn connection. Trying to show y'all the other podcasters and trying to show y'all my notes here. Come on now, what the hell? You gotta be kidding me with this crap. Very sorry for this, having some technical difficulties here. This really pisses me off, man. Why is it taking so goddamn long? Jeez. Come on now. It takes so goddamn long. Alright, let's go into the other podcaster. There's Weezy Blonde.
I don't know if Roman Reigns is a match for Kanga. I don't know if he's a match for it. At 3 a.m., the building was an old hospital. Yeah, it's... As Sniper says, I personally...
now, Crown Jewel birth, Bronson Reed now being back in the main event with Paul Heyman behind him. There's a lot of things like big pluses for Bronson Reed fans, right? You got to say that. Paul Heyman in Perth, in Australia, going up against the Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief. So that, to me, I think is a win all around. But if you're a Roman Reigns fan, you're like, why are we taking time with Bronson Reed again? Because I thought it was over. But at the same time, if you look at the whole picture, the whole thing, as I would say, at least we're getting Roman at Crown Jewel. I think that in itself is a win.
It really is, and you're right about that. I'm glad that you mentioned, too, that Bronson Reed did miss out, during this when we were there last time in Australia due to him getting hurt at War Games, and that's such a great point because I hadn't even thought about that until you said it right now. So I'm like, oh, yeah, man, let's fucking go, Bronson. I'm really glad that they made this into a street fight because I really wasn't sure, okay, how are we going to make this different? What is going to be the new thing, and how is this going to go up? Like, how are we going to go about it? The thing that I liked and disliked about this, it was just a little nitpicking, right? Because that's what we do sometimes, is one of the things that Paul Heyman was trying to do was hold back Bronson Reed from going to fight Roman Reigns. Sanjay, I was mad. I was like, dude, he's a grown-ass man. If he wants to go out there and fight Roman Reigns, he should be fighting Roman Reigns. Eventually, he did go after him once Roman Reigns really pissed him off, and he went out there and go chase down Roman. But here's my pet peeve, and this is my pet peeve.
Okay.
I hate security guards breaking up these fights as fast as they do.
Yeah.
All the time. It almost puts the brakes on something that is supposed to get me excited, because very quickly they come in and they suck the fun. So I wanted them just to, let me have a little bit more here with Roman and with Bronson, because I liked it. I liked the fire. I loved the vision of, I liked the image of Bronson walking and being pissed, like, you know what, Roman Reigns, you freaking did it. I'm not going to listen to Paul Heyman, and I'm going to get my hands on you. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No, I think what's another detail that's being forgotten is it feels like people are no longer listening to Paul Heyman, right? You had Seth Rollins not listening to Paul Heyman running to the ring last week, where he was ignoring that and went to the ring, got destroyed by Cody Guile Rhodes. And then you have Paul Heyman trying to pull back Bronson Reed. I think we're going to get another Braun Breaker moment where it feels like the Oracle doesn't have control. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but I did like the idea of Paul Heyman going, hey, man, if you lose against Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, I'm going to jump ship. So I wonder if they're going to continue expanding on that. It feels like sometimes the WWE has something good, and if you really pay attention, as was it Bray Wyatt says, you got to watch for the buzzards, right? Follow the buzzards. If you following the little details of the storyline that Paul Heyman doesn't have control of the vision or doesn't have respect like he did as the wise man of the bloodline, I wonder if that develops anything more, because every time you don't listen to Paul Heyman, you pay the price.
Oh, I think it has to. I loved that backstage moment today because here's the thing, things have not been looking too great right now with Seth Rollins and with Paul Heyman. One of the most recent signs was when he said he knew, and I put quotations up in the air, when he said he knew about Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar kind of doing their thing. I didn't believe Seth Rollins when he said he knew that they were going to do. What is going on?
12 bets, 10 contestants left. Welcome to day 2.
We start to feel that maybe the relationship between Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins isn't what we think that it is, right? Mm-hmm. Him saying, what would happen if I lose to Cody Rhodes? I like that they dug deeper into this by Paul saying the truth. He gave him the cold hard truth, telling him Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, they're not going to look at him the way that they normally do. They're going to lose hope in him. He's going to lose the locker room. He's going to lose his pride. And Seth basically saying, well, what about you? Are you going to leave me too? And Paul Heyman's like, well, I'm going to start revisiting things. But here's the thing, though, Sancho. I don't know how you felt when Paul Heyman aligned with Seth Rollins, but my reaction was, why? Why would you pick Seth Rollins over Roman Reigns and CM Punk? So now, if Seth Rollins does lose, to me, that's only going to prove my original feelings that I had in regards to this whole him picking Seth over Roman and Punk.
I was hoping Paul Heyman would just be like, hey, it's not a big deal if you lose. Cody gets another ring, another big belt, and we just move on to the next feud because, Crown Jewel, champion versus champion. The only thing they did wrong with Gunther last year, Denise, was that Gunther just got all shy
and he just forgot who he was. I do like that they added stakes. That's the most important thing, is they added stakes to this crown jewel. Last year, I feel like didn't have any legs with the fallout of Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. This year, it feels like there's a lot more at stake than just a ring and a belt. This feels like it's a lot more. And obviously, you cannot have Seth Rollins lose everything, can you? I mean, already Becky Lynch is already like in his ear and things like that, and trying to be a distraction. And Seth Rollins is so enamored with the Rolex. But if Rollins loses against Cody Rhodes, who is so obsessed, I would say obsessed, that he has to be Cody Rhodes, I don't think they pull that trigger. There's just no way that they're going to throw away so much investment in the Vision so quickly. I feel like it's still young. It's a still young faction.
Yes, they're still a baby. You gotta read them little songs and make their brains grow and develop and all of these things. I'm with you, man. I don't think Seth, as much as I love Cody Rhodes and, you know, all of that, I don't think Seth should lose again to Cody Rhodes. I really don't. Or else it's gonna be making him look like a fool. You can't make him look like a fool like that. He's already insecure.
Did you feel weird back in the day in the WrestleMania when he debuted Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins, that I was so shocked that Vince at the time let Seth Rollins lose to Cody Rhodes? I know the typical thing if it's a returning superstar, but this is not just some old returning superstar. It is an AEW superstar coming into the WWE, beating the poster boy of the WWE at the time of Seth Rollins, and not only let him lose at Mania, lose again in Hell in a Cell match. Like, that was insane to me that they'd let that happen twice in a row. So I was like, wait a minute, I thought everything was being put in the Seth Rollins egg basket, and then now everything's going to Cody Rhodes so easily. So now that we got that story, now we're here again, and that's what I love about this Crown Jewel match, is there's so much lore to it, versus last year it was just Cody and Gunther. We were like, Gunther, you're wasting time, champion versus champion. If Gunther loses, he looks a lot worse, and there's no way Cody Rhodes would have lost after beating Roman Reigns at Mania that year.
It's wild because hearing you say that and like going back to Cody and Seth during that time at WrestleMania, when you look back at that, it was 100% the right call to make, to have Cody go out the way that he did, win the way that he did, because that, and I know this is an entirely different subject, but at the end of the day, that changed perception for a lot of people, where suddenly people on the other side in AEW were like, you know, if I go to WWE, all of these wonderful things are going to happen to me. Like, look at Cody Rhodes, and then eventually look at CM Punk, and, you know, look at Jade Cargill, and look at all these big things that happen. And what seemed like we didn't know all of that was going to happen in that moment, but you're right. It really did. Like, that one moment catapulted into something huge, and now Cody Rhodes is the guy. That's the only thing that's kind of like my pet peeve, too, in this with Seth and Cody, is that Seth keeps saying that, like, Cody is not going to be the future, that Steph's going to be the future. I'm like, bro, the future is right now, and Cody Rhodes, it's happening. He's that guy. He's the one, you know, doing all of the, you know, advertisements. He's main eventing WrestleMania. Like, what's his streak now at this point? He's been a part of, like, every single WrestleMania main event in the last couple of years, and then he is that guy with the merch selling and everything. So I almost wish that Cody would say, you know what? It's not even about the future. It's about right now, and I'm the guy right now.
I love it. I love it. I get word in the chat. People tell me, is this a bigger feud than Taylor Swift and Charlie? Is this a bigger feud than those
two? You knew I was Swiftie, Sasha. And I just love it so much. And my favorite song is Opalite. Second is that for me. When they had him out there with freaking Pat McAfee. And I like Pat McAfee.
Wait, so you want the WWE to book Gunther and Cena like Rocky IV, where Gunther destroys our Killings, right? Ron Killings, like Apollo Creed.
I don't know about all that.
And then Gunther goes, if he dies, he dies. Boom.
I would scream if he ever busted out that line. Scream. If he did that to John Cena, if he dies, he dies.
Yes.
Oh, I would scream so loud. But that's the kind of image that I have of Gunther, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
I feel that.
That's how I see Gunther. Like, the matches that he had with Ilya, that's what built this persona, this image of what I think Gunther is.
I need to have John Cena running the snow to Hearts on Fire. That's the only thing that needs to happen.
Let's go. All right, we got John Taylor here who says, as a peace offering, here's 25.
WWE machine product. Right? Main event Jey Uso, the yeeting,
the entrance, the merch, all that, the Unreal, strapping the rocket to Jey Uso, all felt like it was behind the WWE machine. Whereas Roman Reigns giving Jey Uso the love, Roman Reigns out there making sure that Jay's ready to be a main eventer, telling him what he needs to do. He says something about, it's all about you got to put yourself first more than anything when you go out there. That to me speaks volumes, and that means more that family, the bloodline lineage is putting all its eggs in the Jey Uso basket. I'm like, now that's important, and that feels different than a Solo Sikoa MFT bloodline team move, right? This actually feels like it's a part of the extension because it's Roman Reigns that's being involved into it. And it is interesting how you talked about Jimmy and Jay. They are always the centerpiece of the bloodline because it always feels like good versus evil. One brother trying to help another brother. And it works so well in the Thunderdome. And if they could recreate that magic with a live audience in front of everybody, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm intrigued, but it's such a difficult thing to do because Jey Uso is so inconsistent with his promos and his backstage segments. Sometimes he's on point, sometimes he loses a point. But oftentimes he could hit a home run more than anything. So I, for one, I'm all aboard it. What about you, Denise? Are you thinking this is a rehashing of the MFT Bloodline 2.0 team move type of vibe?
So I can't even put these in the same universe with like what's going on with Solo and Jeff and JC Mateo and all that they got going on over there. That feels like an entirely different universe than what we've seen with the Usos and what we've seen with Roman Reigns. Like night and day different. Sadly, I haven't been a fan. I wasn't a fan of them trying to make Solo Sikoa into Little Roman. Like, I did not dig that whatsoever. The times I've liked Solo Sikoa, it's actually when he's been polar opposite of that, when he's been like that sort of like unintentionally funny, quirky kind of guy. Right. But whenever they tried to make him into a Little Roman, I just don't buy it. I really don't. Now, the part that has me interested with this whole scenario that we're seeing over on Raw is I'm interested in two things. One, I'm interested in seeing how far Jey Uso is going to take this. How much of Roman Reigns is he going to adopt into his own personality? That's one of the interests that I have. And two, is it even going to work, right? Like, is it going to happen? Like, are people going to buy Jey Uso as this, like, more meaner, kind of into himself, cares about himself kind of guy? I don't know. But the other part that I'm interested in is what's the eventual dynamic? Because Roman Reigns is always the guy that's on top. If somehow, some way, Jey Uso finds his way on top again, okay, but does this mean for his relationship with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso? We're back to kind of where we were at, several years ago. So I don't know, but I'm liking it. I'm intrigued, and I think the reason why I like it is because it's Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns is involved, when Roman Reigns is part of the story, you shut up and you listen, and that's just how it is.
Does Roman Reigns bring back the Hula Fala?
I'm gonna say no. I think it's kind of is outdated, too harsh of a word.
Perhaps.
I feel like we're gonna take a couple steps back. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say we're taking a couple steps backwards. We need to try new lands here.
What if? Oh, so you like the Shula Fala or the Hula?
No, I hate that. By the way, I was thinking today that they need to stop calling Bronson Reed the tribal thief. He hasn't stolen shit in forever, and the only thing he did steal was Roman's shoes.
He stole my heart, Denise.
No, that does not count. This does not count.
He's a heart taker, okay?
The heart taker. Not the Undertaker.
No, it's not heart taker. That's right.
Thank you, Steven. We got Terrence Matthews here who says he lost to Cody 3 times in a row. Exactly. You really need that win, bro. His pride is on the line. Thank you, Terrence. We got Jacob Tatum here who says all in on Jay becoming once again champion in 2026 due to his heelish demeanor and the possibility of his heel turn. And thoughts on Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. Dude, that was crazy. Can we talk about that now? Because holy shit. Sancho, I'm going to be real with you. When I saw that they made Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree again, I kind of dismissed it, and I thought, oh, maybe AJ Lee's going to get involved somehow. Either before the match, maybe she'll cost Becky Lynch the win, or maybe she'll come out and attack Becky Lynch afterwards. That was my line of thinking. I was not expecting to see the feistiest, most courageous, most best she's ever looked in the ring ever, Maxine Dupree, in this match with Becky Lynch, which, by the way, Maxine won after Becky Lynch ended up getting counted out. This was insane. It was so much fun. How'd you feel about it?
I, for one, I just turned on my air conditioning because I am sweating here.
Oh, it gets hot, especially
absolutely. One of the things I was shocked about was when Maxine and Becky's match went to commercial.
In October, every player wants to turn his story into history.
Paul Heyman warned Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns declared war. You know they're gonna be a war game, but who's gonna be in it?
That's it. You can have OTC 1 when he disappears again and comes back after. Right? Maybe there's. You know, all I wanted for my birthday was a good Raw. It's really all I asked for. And they actually gave me a good Raw tonight. Yeah, it's could be very hit or miss lately with these episodes.
Alright, hold on.
On tonight we have for the men's Crown Jewel Championship match that's coming up on Saturday. We had more stuff from the Bloodline. We had CM Punk and LA Knight. They had a fun little interaction on the show on the mic. They, along with Jey Uso, still want to be the World Heavyweight Champion, which makes sense. Why wouldn't they want to be the World Heavyweight Champion? But of course, they've all been kind of circling each other now for a few months. All of them going after Seth Rollins, so now they're sort of turning their spears on each other. We've got Jey Uso, who's going out there as like a little wannabe Roman Reigns, a little wannabe dictator here on this show. And they were all in the main event tonight as well, because we had a tag team main event here on this show. Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree. You know, when they announced this match last week, not a title match, but when they announced this match last week, I thought, okay, it's a match. Right, maybe they're setting up the return of AJ Lee on this show. They're going to add it last minute to the card in Perth. AJ Lee was not on the show tonight. We got Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree, who stole the show. I did not have that on my bingo card. I was not expecting that to steal the show. I was not expecting that to be the match that got This Is Awesome chance here on this show. But then again, I mean, the way people chant This Is Awesome these days, if somebody sneezed in the ring, you would get This Is Awesome chance. So, I mean, that alone really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. But they surprised the hell out of me with that match. We got a match tonight, unannounced, between Io Sky and Kairi Sane, which went a little under 10 minutes. I wish they would have given them more time. What we got, though, was pretty good. And they tried to further that story a little bit more. Rhea Ripley was not on the show. She's already down under in Australia. But on the whole, you know, top to bottom, I thought this was a very strong episode of Raw. I am happy to say. So now we get to talk about it. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday night. It is October 6th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. You will see them popping up, you know, wherever it may be. That means a lot. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you spending your day with me here for the Raw review. Spending part of my birthday with me here. We'll have a little party. You don't think I just wear this hat just for the hell of it, do you? There's got to be a reason. There's got to... Circle back. They were in Dallas. So he opened the show. The OTC 1 is what his shirt says. You know, Nathan, I'm sure Nathan is still with us. Nathan in the chat made a comment earlier. He says, OTC 1 sounds like a villain in a Terminator movie. It really does. It's very dumb. The only reason is they just wanted more shirts to sell. That's it. I got a very busy week. I got a lot of things. Heyman said that Roman Reigns, he knows that he fears him. He fears Reed. He got attacked by multiple people when the match was over. It wasn't a fair fight. He beat the man already. I don't think he's shaking in his boots. Reed told Roman that his father, Sika, 45 years in the business. I'm levels above you. It's going to be hit. What are we talking about? Those were fighting words for Reed. He marched down to the ring. The two of them started brawling. Reed sent Roman outside, and then he followed him out, but he ate a Superman punch that sent him over the timekeeper's barricade. Reigns then cleared off the announce desk, but a bunch of security geeks came out. They surrounded him. Reed got back up, so Roman went over to fight him again and then delivered one last Superman punch for good measure. And Reed was furious and had to be held back. So they swerved us. It certainly sounded like they were building to a stretcher match stipulation. And then they laid the Australian street fight thing on us. And again, I mean, obviously Heyman in his announcement said that the match was taking place at Crown Jewel, but you know, you have people in the building who wanted to see Roman Reigns wrestle on this show. I do think that they were just very indifferent towards the stipulation for, you know, the reason that I mentioned, that they were expecting something kind of out of the ordinary. And a stretcher match, not that they haven't done that before, but I mean, you don't see one of those too often. Actually, I think Roman had one once, right? With Braun Strowman, I think. So I thought for sure we were getting a stretcher match. They're doing a basic street fight. It's like, what does that even mean, an Australian street fight? What are they going to do, throw koala bears at each other? Like, what does that even mean? It's going to be the same plunder that we always say. You're going to get your kendo sticks. You're going to get your tables, your Slim Jim tables. You're going to get your chairs.
Yeah.
You know, if they were in Chicago, it would be a Chicago street fight. So it's an Australian street fight. So that way they have toys that they can play with. You know, Bronson Reed in this match, there can only be one outcome here. He needs to beat Roman Reigns. That's it. That's it. And I would be shocked if he does it clean. So there would probably be some shenanigans involved. Because again, it's a no disqualification type match, which means anybody can get involved. Braun Breaker can get involved, right? Anybody can get involved. But we already saw Roman Reigns beat Bronson Reed in Paris, which I thought was a match, frankly, that he should have won. And then you would have run the match back here in Perth, and then Roman could have gotten his win back on the show. Instead, Roman just beat him. Now, if they have Bronson win, that's fine. But that's the only outcome here that they should be considering. Because for Roman Reigns to go in there and beat him for a second time, what a fucking loser Bronson Reed would be, right? You can't do that. You got to keep him strong, especially if the vision is going to be part of War Games at Survivor Series. I think it's paramount that you keep those guys looking as strong as possible heading into that show in San Diego. And the same goes for Seth Rollins in his match with Cody Rhodes. So to me, that is the only outcome, acceptable outcome for this match on Saturday. Cannot have him lose twice. Backstage, our good friend Asuka tells Adam Pearce to make a match tonight between Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Pearce mentions that Rhea Ripley is already in Australia doing media. He just has to.
Bestie, the album's out. We're screaming in all caps, devouring every lyric, and ordering Domino's best deal ever while cuddling our cat.
I mean, this has been stories.
Alright, let's go into the other podcast, JD from New York.
Stories that we are interested in watching.
Best one month.
Week by week. Seemingly this year they have abandoned the long-term story and the actual art of storytelling for what is a big moment, or a big match, or a big return, with no real payoff and no real reason to care outside of in that moment. The excitement in that moment. Whether you like WWE or not, some of those moments probably weren't exciting to you. Not everybody enjoyed Brock Lesnar returning at SummerSlam. Not everybody enjoyed AJ Lee returning at WrestlePalooza. Not many people enjoyed Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Not many people enjoyed John Cena's run this year as a heel. There's not a lot to really like about the WWE in 2025, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys. It's been rough.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling in 2025 in general has largely been awful. Everything just feels cold. Everything just feels soulless. There's no real direction. One company's trying to maximize profits and only profits and have abandoned storytelling. The other company feels like all we want is pro wrestling and they don't give a shit about anything else. They don't care about making money. They don't care about their ratings plummeting. They don't care about long-term stories. They don't care about putting in the effort to give us characters that we genuinely want to care about. They feel like going back to year 1, year 2 characters is going to bring all those people back. Bro, they are long gone. Nobody wants to see Jungle Jack and fucking Pockets on television. Monday Night Raw has quietly put together a beautiful string of shows the last couple of weeks, with this one being the best so far in the last several weeks. And they did one thing and one thing that is the most important. And they really focused on telling stories. They really focused on telling a story and stringing it from week to week, show to show on Monday. I wish they'd do this same thing on Friday. Seemingly feels like we have no direction on Friday, and like I said on Friday, Friday's become a fucking variety hour. It's unbelievable. I don't really understand why they can't get it together on Friday night. Get Wraith out of the chat. AEW has been fucking absolutely miserable all year. Get the fuck out of here. You're a complete idiot. I wish Friday was a little bit more like Monday, because Friday has become a mix of NXT, Monday Night Raw, and Friday Night SmackDown, and they don't know what they want to be. Monday Night Raw knows what it needs to do and knows what it wants to be. And that was evidenced by tonight. The characters that we care about were on this show tonight. Roman Reigns was back. CM Punk was back. Both integrated into stories. Roman being the better of the two. Punk is just in this holding period until we get him into War Games. Obviously, he still wants the WWE Championship, but we're waiting with Punk to get into War Games because he will absolutely be a part of the War Games team. I don't know who else is going to be a part of that War Games team, but we might have gotten a glimpse of that tonight with that segment with the Usos, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. That may be the direction that they're going. I'll get into Roman, and I'll get into Punk, and I'll get into the Usos. But the story that they're telling with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso has you interested, because not only are these characters that we genuinely care about, these characters' stories have already been told on television. You're already invested in these characters. They have equity with the viewing audience. You know what Roman Reigns is about. You know Roman Reigns' character. You are ingrained in the Bloodline story. We've been fed the Bloodline story for the last 4 years. We know Roman's story. We know Roman's character. We are invested in him. We know Jay's character, Jimmy's character. We're invested in the Usos' character. These characters have already been established on the show. This is not like taking somebody from the back that's been off TV for fucking 3 months and trying to get them into a storyline and the crowd doesn't give a shit. There's a reason why the fans react, and there's a reason why these stories come off like they do, like we're invested, like we want more. It's because these characters have been established on the show with absolutely months of effort and story put into it. Same thing with LA Knight, same thing with CM Punk. That's one of the reasons why we care so much about these characters. The way long-term booking has gone away. Brock came back. We thought we were getting that in February, going into March, going into Mania season, and it seemingly feels like WWE has been playing catch-up all year. And now they're finally starting to get their wheels going again, at least on Monday. Again, like I said, I don't know what we're doing on Friday. Roman, Jimmy, Jay. I'm interested to see where it goes, because it feels like the old Bloodline story again. It's a new take on what's going on. The only thing I can hope for here is that it gets Jay to the next level, and I hope it doesn't abandon Jimmy. I don't know what their end goal is. I don't know what their mission is with this. Roman's established, Jay's established. If this storyline with the Bloodline right now, the OG Bloodline, this story doesn't get Jimmy to the level of Jay, I don't know what the point of all of this is. Jimmy should be a focal point in this storyline. He needs to be brought up just like Jay was brought up. Roman brought Jay up. Now I feel like they need to bring Jimmy up as well if they really want to create all of them as equal. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I mean, this has been easily the best title match, title feud, and story for a title match in WWE all year. All year. Starting from January, I know we got Cody and Kevin Owens in that great ladder match at the Royal Rumble. That was fantastic, and I love that story. But I felt like that was honestly thrown together because they had nothing more for Cody to do. It came out of nowhere, and it was great because Kevin Owens is fucking fantastic, and Cody's one of the best storytellers in the business. But when you add Cody Rhodes as one of the best storytellers in the business, and you put him in a story and in a match with somebody that he has a long history with, like Seth Rollins, then you're just taking that to the next level. They make it look so effortless. They make it look so seamless. They make it like you can't miss this match for anything. From January all the way up to where we are right now, this is the best build for any title match all year on a WWE PLE, and I'm including WrestleMania and SummerSlam in that discussion. And this match isn't even for the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. It's for a fucking championship that is going to be showcased on this one night and then going right back into storage when the match is over. It's for ego. It's for dominance. It's for position in the company. It's for war games. This is what it's building towards. I love everything that they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and tonight we got the next piece of the puzzle with Paul Heyman. Because Rollins finally got Heyman face-to-face in the locker room, and he wanted to know exactly what Paul Heyman was thinking. He wanted Paul Heyman to give him the truth. I need to beat him, Paul. Paul Heyman seems to think that Seth Rollins is going to easily take care of Cody Rhodes. We all know Paul Heyman is a master of his craft. He's already probably got 3 or 4 working plans if plan A doesn't work out. He's already ahead of the curve. What that is, I don't know. Could be Drew McIntyre, could be Brock Lesnar, could be The Vision, could be someone new added to The Vision. We don't know. But all I know is Cody Rhodes threw that little Easter egg out there for Seth Rollins to munch on. Is it really you who's running The Vision, or is it Paul Heyman? And that has stuck with Seth Rollins for weeks now. And that's the one thing that's really bothering Seth Rollins. Because he believes he's in charge, but we all know he's not. Cody knows he's not. Paul Heyman knows he's not. Seth Rollins wants to think that. And it's even going to be further proven on Saturday that Seth Rollins is not in charge. Because when Seth Rollins beats Cody Rhodes, it's going to be because of what Paul Heyman has planned for Seth Rollins. We'll get into that, because that was a tremendous piece of business on the show tonight. Maxine Dupree. She was another story on this show. Don't know why she was wrestling Becky Lynch. Don't know why this match was put together tonight. Don't know what the point of it was. Unless WWE really wants to give Maxine Dupree a platform to get her to the next level and use her as a character on the show, integrate her into the women's division. Because they see something, they feel something there with Maxine. They feel she's ready. I don't know if she's ready. But all I know is tonight she wrestled Becky Lynch. And not only does Becky Lynch constantly get her flowers for being one of the greatest of all time, Becky Lynch once again showed you how valuable she is, not only as a heel, but as an in-ring performer. Everybody that is around Becky Lynch automatically is better off for it. But Maxine Dupree showed up tonight and wrestled probably the best match of her entire life. I'm surprised it went as long as it did. And at the end, Maxine was a little bit better off for it. And it reminded me of something where the other company failed. Hopefully WWE doesn't follow in the same footsteps. But there's something that it definitely reminded me of, and we'll talk about that tonight, that the other company did not do. And I hope WWE is looking to do something a little bit different here with Maxine Dupree. Crown Jewel is this Saturday. WWE added another match with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in a rematch. No, it's not a stretcher match, which I thought that they were going to do. It's not an ambulance match. It is a Australian street fight, meaning that there are no rules. Meaning that WWE needs to do one thing and one thing only on Saturday afternoon in Perth, Australia. They need to have Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. We're going to go over this Monday Night Raw tonight. I thought it was an excellent show, riddled with story, and I thought the in-ring action was excellent tonight. We're going to get into it. One of the best Monday Night Raws in weeks. And I'm glad to see Monday Night Raw finally, slowly, start to turn that corner and tell some stories. Like I said, I wish SmackDown would do the same thing. Thank you guys very much for joining me here tonight. It is the Monday Night Raw post show right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday, October 6th, 2025. A little bit of a programming note this week. Once again, we are preempted. Come on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show as always. It's the best way to support what we do here. And tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew impressive as if they came from a wise man. He challenged Reigns to face Reed at Crown Jewel on Saturday in what they're calling an Australian street fight. Now, I don't know why we need to label it an Australian street fight. We just can't label it street fight. I thought that they were going to do a stretcher match or an ambulance match of sorts, because this was another instance in where Roman Reigns was stretchered out of the building due to a heinous attack by heels. They didn't go and do that. They gave us the very boring and very straightforward and uncreative Australian street fight. What's the difference between an Australian street fight and a Chicago street fight? Australian street fight and a New York street fight? Or a Tennessee street fight? What's the difference? Roman Reigns said, "I accept." Heyman smiled and said, "Good night, everybody." So Reigns tried to get the last word in here. He said that they walked in like some tough guys, but they seemed to be walking out like a couple of bitches. Reed didn't like that, so he marched to the ring and he blew past Paul Heyman, so Heyman didn't even have an opportunity to grab him and not have him get into the ring. So he marched to the ring, he went after Reigns, Reed threw him to the floor. Heyman was watching, could do nothing about it. Reigns caught Reed with a Superman punch at ringside. He then cleared off the announce desk. Security steps in.
Hey, what the hell?
Jump in my new EV with me. I found it on cars.com.
Go on now. Alright.
And throws the ones in the air. And that is the way the segment came to a close. Now, like I said, we didn't really get the rules or the understanding of what an Australian street fight is supposed to be. Is it a different take? Are there different weapons? Is there a different concept of sorts? I don't know. Or is it going to be the same like everything else? So that's number one. Number two, I said this on social media, and I don't really know if this is going to be the case or not. I hope WWE takes a little bit more of a risk on Saturday morning. I will be watching at 8 a.m. I don't know when I'm going live yet for Crown Jewel, but I will be watching live along with you guys. Whoever's going to be up at that time, I'll have a pot of coffee ready. I'll be ready to go. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. The Vision got the win at WrestlePalooza over the Usos. LA Knight was the special guest referee. I am not crazy about Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns. I'll get to Braun Breaker in a second. I'm not crazy about Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns having another one-on-one match. I'm not. The last time that they wrestled was at the pay-per-view in Paris, Clash in Paris. Roman Reigns got the win in what was a good match. It was a TV match on PLE, but it was a good match nonetheless. That's where the beatdown at the end of the match happened, and they beat the shit out of Roman Reigns and sent him packing for a month so he can go film his movie in Australia, as he's going to be in the new Street Fighter live-action movie. Roman won clean. There was no shenanigans. There was nothing else after the match. He got beat down, he got stretchered out, and he got written off TV. It is a natural progression that we get some sort of revenge by Roman on the Vision for what they did at Clash in Paris. I don't know why we can't go with Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns instead. But WWE seems to have a different way about it. They're doing this because Bronson Reed missed, if you guys remember. The Elimination Chamber last year took place in Perth, Australia. And Bronson Reed missed that because of reasons. Now, this is probably a make-good to get him on the show in a very meaningful way in his home country. And I think WWE is paying it back to Bronson Reed because he missed the last time they were in Perth. So I understand them doing Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns for the simple fact that it does continue what they did at Clash in Paris, and it gets Bronson Reed on the Australian show in Perth in front of his friends and family in a marquee match against Roman Reigns. Maybe WWE is saving Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns for before War Games because they have a Saturday night's main event that's taking place in Utah at the beginning of November. I'd like to think that that would be one of the marquee matches on that show, along with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, or maybe we get a Cody Rhodes World Championship match there against Drew McIntyre. I don't know what else they have planned. On one hand, we got everything making sense coming out of Clash in Paris as to why this match is taking place. Bronson Reed on the Australian show in Perth makes sense because he missed the last time they were there. Fans want Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns. WWE may be saving that for Saturday night's main event. That'll be the first show exclusively on Peacock. That'll be a big deal. The fact that Roman beat Bronson Reed clean at Clash in Paris. The fact that Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. They need to do one thing and one thing only here on Saturday. Bronson Reed needs to beat Roman Reigns. He needs to. Now, I don't know if it's going to end up being that way because I'm predicting Seth Rollins to beat Cody Rhodes. I don't know if the Vision is going to make a clean sweep with the matches that they are in on Saturday afternoon. I don't. I'd like to think so, because the one thing that I'm thinking about is how do we keep the group strong going into War Games? I would not have them lose anything. I would not have them lose a single fucking match, and you build them up as a faction that is going into War Games that is as strong as ever. And you can't get to that point if Bronson Reed, again, in a one-on-one match, loses to Roman Reigns. Now, the no DQ situation opens it up for him to get a win while you also protect Roman Reigns. So it's not like he'd be beating him straight up clean like Roman beat Reed at Clash in Paris. I don't think WWE would be that adventurous to go and do that. But this Australian street fight opens it up a little bit where you could get Reed the victory via heel tactics or some bullshit while also at the same time protecting Roman Reigns. I don't give a fuck how we get there. I don't care how it's done. I don't care how you script it. Bronson Reed needs to beat Roman Reigns. We physically need to see him 1, 2, 3. Roman is God. A loss is not going to set Roman Reigns back, and he's never going to not recover from losing to Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beating Roman Reigns is going to do a hell of a lot more for Bronson Reed than it would do Roman Reigns beating Bronson Reed. We've already been there, done that. So if WWE has the fucking balls to take one of their top guy, realistically, to take their top guy and put him in a situation where he gives back to Bronson Reed here at home in a no DQ situation where you can make it like it doesn't even matter, then do it. Where is the harm in that? There is none. You have to make the group as viable and as strong as you possibly can make them going into War Games.
Yeah, you have to, because they have to look strong going into War Games. Now that tells me are they going to win War Games? Well, we won't know. We have to wait until we get there, but they have to look strong going into War Games. And also, how many people are going to be in War Games? Because you got Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. You need three. They need two more people. So who else is going to be in there? But they have to look strong. Otherwise, you make Rollins and Braun Breaker look like a fucking loser. You make him look like a fucking idiot. And that's not good. After all the build-up, after all the work you did of building them up as unstoppable, incredible, they carried this show. They've been closing out most of Raw in the main event. So they need a victory. We could get Braun Breaker screwing Roman Reigns, because last time we saw Braun Breaker was last week. Braun Breaker was not on the show this week. He was taken out last week by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns took him out, hit him. He speared him, hit him with a few chair shots. So maybe Braun Breaker is selling the attack last week for him to show up at Crown Jewels, going after Roman Reigns, spearing Roman Reigns, and helping Bronson Reed get the win. And then we can get Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns at Saturday Night Main Event. And then we'll see him in War Games. That's what I think is going to happen.
They are going to be the War Games heel faction. We all know that. You do not need them to go into that match losing. Now, I could be completely wrong here. Reigns could beat Reed. They do Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns at Saturday night's main event, and they save Roman losing to Breaker instead of Reed. But why is that fair? I don't know why we can't give both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker a victory over Roman Reigns. What the fuck is Roman Reigns here for? Does Roman need the victory? Roman is untouchable. He's not going to be around forever. Reed and Breaker are. They're the future. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Get back. Get your revenge in War Games. You see the babyface is winning in War Games anyway.
Yeah.
That needs to be done. That needs to be done. Again, I don't know if WWE is going to be that risky or take the chances. You know how Triple H plays it safe. This pay-per-view needs to be anything but safe. We need to see some fucking shock. We need to see some awe. We need to see some surprises. And I don't mean a random return or a fucking new member to a fact. We need to have that feeling of shock via a victory.
Yeah, that is true. I'm also curious of who else is going to join. Because after Crown Jewels is over with, who's going to join the division? We could look at the return of maybe a big return or something. Hopefully. I don't see Brock Lesnar coming back and being in. I'd be shocked if it was Brock Lesnar joining the division in War Games. I know they need Brock Lesnar. I was hoping someone else. Maybe Austin Theory or Ilya Dragunov. But we'll wait for that.
This would be a great shock. Wow! Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. What is so difficult in actually getting us over that finish line? I hope it happens. I talk up a big game, I make it look and sound all pretty, but I don't know if WWE is going to actually go and do that. They showed CM Punk arriving backstage. Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky. And then all of a sudden we go backstage to Asuka. She's with Adam Pearce. Asuka demanded Adam Pearce to give her a match with Io and Kairi tonight. Now, the way that this made it sounded like she wanted a triple threat match with Io and Kairi tonight, but she wanted Io and Kairi one-on-one. She wanted to see Io and Kairi one-on-one. Pierce says he would see if they had room on the show. Asuka starts yelling at him in Japanese. I understand. And then he walks away and says, man, I need more than 3 minutes. I'll get into this and break it down, and then we'll discuss how I'm feeling about all this Maxine Dupree, Becky Lynch stuff. So, bell rings about half an hour in. We got the opening segment with Rain, Reeds, and Heyman. And then we got the backstage segment with Pierce, Kyrie.
Join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime.
Hey there. Into War Games and Steph should be Cody Clean as a she. LOL, yeah, right. None of which will happen. But by the way, Dave Koss does bring up a big point that I do want to talk about today. Yo, Asuka slapping the crap out of Kyrie. That built to me so much sympathy for her. I love that segment. I love the.
What's good for that in that scenario, Denise, is that Dom will never shut up about it.
Yeah, no, never. Thank you, Ramsey. We got J.S. Cal here who says, some say if you say Joe Hendry's name, he appears. I wish he did.
I've had, like, red carpet, things of that sort, so I just commend you for doing...
to film a segment in that exact fucking hallway that I...
Knight. Oh no, you'll know this.
Oh, did he wrestle Dax? Kevin Knight win.
Tomorrow night on NXT, which I will be live reacting to, by the way. I will be live reacting to that. Be sure you check that out.
Barely 5 minutes at SummerSlam. He says at Clash in Paris, he was the one who took the losing fall. He got pinned. Seth Rollins pinned his shoulders to the mat. You know whose shoulders Seth Rollins has never pinned to the mat? And Punk responded, well, I imagine it was a guy who also has never been a heavyweight champion. And the fans popped for that line. Knight really had no comeback for that. He got him with that line. And Knight said, well, I may not have been the world heavyweight champion, but I'll be the next one. That brought out Jey Uso, who came out through the stage, not the crowd. And he joined Punk and Knight in the ring, and Jey told Knight that he was finally
Followed, and it was not in a fluid motion all at the same time. So she actually hit the mat first before Becky did, instead of delivering the maneuver where both of them hit the mat at the same time. Again, she's not all there. She is slowly piecing things together, and she's still very green. Maxine tried to climb the top rope. Becky got up there, knocked her off. She then landed a superplex for a 2 count. She followed up with a disarmer. They exchanged leverage 2 counts. Maxine landed a spinning wheel kick for a near fall, and the crowd really popped, and Joe Test sold it on commentary. As did Wade Barrett. They were great here. Maxine then leapt off the top rope with a nice crossbody press. Becky rolled through the crossbody and scored a 2 count.
There's also some news in the NBA. Maybe I'll talk about that when I do my 2K17 My Career. I'll probably talk about that after I play basketball. Hold on.
Maxine put her leg on the middle rope for added leverage to score another near fall, and she was shocked that she didn't get it. And she stayed shocked until Becky got another attack in. Maxine didn't do anything, and she thought she'd get the victory. She's trying to take any way she can get the victory here. She's come close, and now she's getting frustrated. Becky went on the attack with a kick to the head. Maxine dropped out to the floor.
So we got TNA Bound for Glory. That's live on Sunday.
He rammed her into the announce desk. She then bashed Maxine with a Prime Energy bottle on the outside, which I'm assuming is not a disqualification because it's fucking out there every single week. Becky broke the count and argue with the ref before going after Maxine at ringside again, where they remained. She rammed her into the announce desk again, and all of a sudden Becky Lynch gets onto the announce desk as she's in complete control here. She's talking up to the crowd, she's talking Maxine, I'm the best, I'm the best. Everybody says it. Sports Illustrated says it, Bleacher Report says it, ESPN says it. She's got her back turned to Maxine, and she doesn't see Maxine getting in the ring while the referee is administering her 10 count. Jessica Carr is counting 8, 9. Maxine's back in the ring, and Becky's still trash talking everybody. Count of 10 hits. Maxine's in the ring. Becky's on the outside. The bell rings. We get a count-out victory from Maxine Dupree, and the crowd pops. I don't remember hearing a pop for a count-out victory that loud in forever. But Maxine Dupree got the win. She didn't get the visual pin on Becky. She was close. But she got a count-out victory because Becky was cocky. And Becky was acting like Becky. She took her eye off the ball, and Maxine took advantage. Maxine wins via countout in 14 minutes. I'm not the biggest Maxine Dupree fan. I'm not. There's a lot of work to be done there to make me a believer that she could actually exist in this current division. There's no way anybody is going to look at me as I'm live here tonight in front of almost 2,000 people on a Monday night. There's no way anybody's going to look at me and say, well, she belongs in the division. Sure. But there's no way you could possibly believe she could stand next to a Stephanie Vaquer, a Natalya, a Rhea Ripley, an Asuka, an Io, a Bayley, a Roxanne, a Lyra. I mean, this division is fucking absolutely monstrous. Stacked. Maxine is not going to be able to stand next to those names. Not right now. But I will give Maxine credit where she has obviously earned it from a fan. Early on, Maxine was absolutely atrocious. She didn't belong in a ring, and she had to look more of a valet than she did an active in-ring performer. This is obviously something that is very important to her. I don't know what her desire is in this business. I don't know what her goals are in this business. But clearly, as long as she's been with the WWE, she doesn't want to be straddled with the gimmick of yet another pretty face in this division with no fucking talent. Another blonde in this division that is stereotyped by wrestling fans, that stands there and looks pretty and does nothing else. That is something that I could appreciate. She doesn't want to be that. She does not want to fit into that stereotype. There's too many of that anyway. It's very typical in WWE as well. The fact that she's training and the fact that she's putting shit together and actually wrestling when she doesn't really have to. I find that very respectable, and I find that commendable. Now, she's not there yet, clearly. But the fact that she went 14 minutes with the best that the division has to offer in Becky Lynch, and she got the crowd to buy into that one pinfall, especially where Becky got her shoulder up. I thought it was a fucking 3 count. I even said, oh shit, on the couch. She's got this underdog babyface persona.
Very good man.
It's incredibly likable. And WWE needs to know that that is something special.
Yep.
If they can continue to present Maxine in that way, and at the same time she continues to get better, week after week, month after month, they got something very special there. They got a story that is going to be very, very relatable to the audience. Again, I don't know if we're going to get there or not, but tonight was a great first step in achieving that. This was the best match that she's ever wrestled. 14 minutes with the Intercontinental Champion. Becky Lynch on the flip side. Again, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan. But if you guys have been watching me since the WrestleMania season this year, I did not get into the Becky Lynch heel run until we really settled into maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks after it actually happened. I felt like they flipped it. She showed up at Mania as a babyface. The very next night they turned heel on Lyra, and they built something with Lyra that I very much enjoyed. I thought for that first night it was very forced and just came out of nowhere. What are we doing? And then Becky settled into that heel role, and I honestly feel like she's done the best work of her career. Not only from an in-ring perspective, but also as an actual heel character on the show. Then they paired her with Seth Rollins, which was a natural fit, and they integrated her into the CM Punk AJ Lee storyline, which was great. And that was some of the best segments that WWE produced all year, with Becky and Punk and AJ and all 4 of them together. I don't know what WWE's plan is for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't. You would think that Becky and AJ Lee was going to be the direction for the Intercontinental Championship. A lot of us predicted that it would take place at Crown Jewel, because AJ got the pin, or made Becky tap out, rather, at WrestlePalooza. She tapped out the Intercontinental Champion. By all accounts, that should net AJ Lee a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know what their plan is. But with AJ being off television, for now, Becky Lynch had nobody else to work with. So they threw Maxine Dupree in there, and again, she shocked everybody by producing a semi-decent fucking match here that a lot of people are saying is the best match of her career. And it is. Becky deserves a lot of credit for taking somebody in Maxine and being such a great character and such a great heel, and the way that she works and the way that she plays up the crowd, it enhanced everything that Maxine was trying to do in that ring. So when you look at Becky Lynch and you don't appreciate what Becky Lynch has done, you need to start appreciating Becky Lynch for what she's doing. This is the heel that the division needs. And she's doing some great work. And Maxine benefited from that tremendously tonight. Again, I don't know where they go, but clearly Becky Lynch is on some sort of storyline where she needs to go back and reevaluate who she is. What that means, where that goes, I don't know. Where this goes with Maxine, I can't tell you. I don't know if this is a one-off, just to get a match and a couple of segments on TV, or WWE's got some long-term plan where they're going to start incorporating Maxine Dupree on television a little bit more often and start building up her as a character in the women's division. Again, I don't know. But it reminds me of what AEW did with Harley Cameron. This is what I said earlier at the top. It reminds me of what WWE, or AEW rather, did with Harley Cameron going into Grand Slam Australia in February of this year, where they built her up and they put her in a match because it's Australia and she's from Australia, and they put her in a TBS title match against Mercedes Moné, when we all know that she wasn't ready for that spot at all. She wasn't ready for that spot because she didn't earn a championship match. She wasn't ready for that spot because she's not very good. And they only booked her there because she's from Australia. That was it. That should have been a star-making moment for Harley Cameron. And AEW did nothing. AEW proceeded to put her in a lucha mask and have her follow around the Beast Mortos. And follow around Hologram. They even dubbed her Harley Graham on Collision. For weeks, months, wearing this lucha mask. Coming out of a TBS title feud with Mercedes Moné. They failed to follow up at all. And this is where Mercedes' run has failed. When you look at Mercedes and Becky, who are you going to take at the end of the day? Who has done more for their division when you look at them side by side? It certainly isn't Mercedes. Becky Lynch has done so much more for her division than Mercedes has done in 2025. And that is the primest of examples with Harley Cameron. Becky Lynch made Maxine Dupree. She made Maxine Dupree ascend to the next level, whatever that is, while Mercedes worked with Harley Cameron and did nothing for Harley Cameron. Absolutely nothing. She benefited from nothing. That's what I look at. That's the comparison I made tonight when I'm watching this match. Now again, is WWE going to do something with Harley Cameron following, or Maxine Dupree, where AEW didn't do anything with Harley Cameron? I don't know. I don't know. That's on them. And I will be paying attention to what they do or don't do with Maxine Dupree. I don't know how you don't follow it up when she went 14 minutes with the Intercontinental Champion. They need to do something. Now, Becky's already stated she's not going to Perth. So we're not getting a rematch there. They may save it for Saturday night's main event. I don't know. But I thought what Maxine Dupree did here tonight was... it was respectable. And it's a beautiful thing to see that she's so determined to erase those stereotypes, get in there, and actually compete with someone like Becky Lynch. She should be very proud of herself tonight. Backstage, the Usos approach Roman Reigns backstage. Jimmy asked if he just heard Heyman and Reed bury his uncle and his dad. Jay looked away. He told Reigns that at Crown Jewel, he's got him. I'll back you up against Bronson Reed in the Street Fighters. Reigns says, I don't want anybody's help. I don't want your help, especially from you. Reigns told Jay he already told him to own the room that he walks into and focus on his business. Reigns then asked Jay, who is out at the top of the hour? Jay then said, it was Punk. Reigns says, it's not you, huh? You're not going on at the 9 o'clock hour? Jay left angry. Reigns then stood alone with Jimmy and told Jimmy, you know I see and I hear everything. What is the problem with your brother taking advice from me? Jimmy had nothing to say. He didn't say a single word to Roman Reigns. I don't know where they're going with any of this Uso and Roman Reigns stuff. I really don't. That's a great thing about it. I don't know where the fuck it's going. I know they'll be in War Games, but I don't know where it's going. Bayley. She's backstage in Gorilla with Lyra Valkyria. She let out a big excitement being next to Lyra. She was over the top, elated that Lyra is wrestling Roxanne Perez. She said this is a future WrestleMania main event in the making. No, it's not. She said she wanted to go out there and be in Lyra's corner. Lyra was once again confused, but she said I could use all the help I could get, so what the hell, yes. Bayley said they should do the handshake. They fumbled this handshake that basically was created right there in the moment. She then spit on her hand and shook Lyra's hand with the spitty hand. Bayley is losing her mind, and I love it. Lyra and Roxanne Perez went 8 minutes. Nothing too crazy here. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. They go right into a commercial break after 2 minutes or so. Rodriguez is out there with Roxanne. She distracted the referee as Lyra was standing on the second rope. Lyra did not go for what she was planning to do on Perez. Perez got up, set up another move. Bayley held on to Lyra to prevent whatever she was doing, so Roxanne fell backwards off the top rope. Lyra landed a moonsault. She got a cover on Roxanne and got a 2 count for it. Rodriguez kicked Bayley at ringside as Bayley was calling for Nightwing. Lyra then kicked Rodriguez. Perez leapt through the ropes and DDT'd Lyra through the ropes on the floor. We go back into the ring. She eventually landed pop rocks for the 1, 2, 3, and Roxanne wins in about 8 minutes. That was basically it. After the match was over, Bayley is upset. She's yelling at Lyra. She grabs Lyra and forces them out of the ring, and they go charge up the aisleway after the Judgment Day, after Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. They gotta go beat them up. And that's the way the match came to an end. And nothing too crazy. Whatever tensions exist between these four women, they're just kind of playing week-to-week television with all four characters. Don't know where it's going, but I assume Bayley eventually is going to completely turn on Lyra, and we're going to focus more on Lyra and Bayley instead of Lyra and Bayley on the Judgment Day. We got a great video package airing on the history of John Cena and AJ Styles. I know some geeks will be complaining that it was randomly thrown together and there's no real story, and blah, 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 blah. It's John Cena's final match. He's already had a butchered half of a year. Let's cut the shit and stop complaining about John Cena and who he's wrestling in his final 5 appearances. You should be fucking lucky we're getting John Cena and AJ Styles, as I don't believe this was in the plans when John Cena's retirement tour was planned. This was a great video package, starting with their first match in 2016. Jackie Redmond narrated this and said,
Well, I might as well stop the video. I made it long enough. Hit that like button. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Let me know in the comment section y'all want to see more. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.